All right, man. What's up? What's poppin', man? You know what time it is? Your boy, Mr. J Hill Podcast. We are officially back. Y'all don't know, right? This y'all have no idea, but we didn't try this thing like two other times. But y'all know I do this entrepreneurship spotlight or segment once a week to bring people that's been in the entrepreneurship space for a while, that's been killing it in the game. They've been making money. They're financially free, and they can teach you how to be financially free. And you can watch that from wherever you watch this, right? So this guy that I have coming up, or that's on my left, my guy, Mr. Marvin Mitchell, he's been talking about being your own bank for a while now. And we've seen him, I mean, the nice cars, the nice houses, the nice clothes and things like that. So I think he's somebody that can definitely speak to being financially free and give you some game. So Marvin Mitchell, what up, brother?
Hey, man, it's good to see you, my guy.
Hey.
For sure.
Third time the charm.
Oh, yeah, always, man. We going to be good. We good.
So, yeah, we were talking about just like not seeing you, right?
Yeah,
like you said you kind of did that intentionally, and you was explaining why.
Yeah, man, and I know you all, like, you the master at being in front of the camera all the time, being in the spotlight, just continuing to be consistent.
Yeah.
And I was doing it for a while, but it really hit, and I'll tell you why, but it really hit the season where I just needed to kind of like step back for a second, just focus on getting my core together, you know what I'm saying? I was starting to lose myself a little bit in these Atlanta lights, you know what I'm saying? And not everybody is out here got your best interest, you know. So after you start dealing with some people and you realizing, although there are some good people and some good mentors out here, there's a lot of people who are scammy type people, you know what I'm saying? And I know I've heard you say that before. And I think what happened for me is I need to just step back and just focus on just building my core community. Like I've had the Lambos, the Rolls Royce Cullinans, the $2 million houses, but I don't even know if you know this, bro, but I sold it. I sold my Lambo. I sold my Cullinan. And I still got the house because I rent it out and make money doing it, but I sold it because I've never been truly the flashy person. Don't get me wrong, but when you made it, don't get me wrong, it felt great to drive it. But then I think after a while, I'm driving in my Lambo, people looking at me, and I'm just like, what y'all looking at? And I'm forgetting that I'm driving a Lambo.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So after a while, I'm like, I'm not even here enough to really enjoy it like I want to. So I just said, let me take that money. Let me store the money I was spending on the Lambo. Let me save it up. It made me a lot of money, but now it was getting to the point where it was actually just, it just didn't move me as much. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think some people, because when I was, I was watching it, or watching you, and it come up, and I think one time I even said, like, I wonder how much of this is marketing versus like these are things that he actually want.
It was marketing.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not anybody who know me, man. I drove a Ford Taurus for like 7 years. And I mean, right now I still got a nice car, man. I got like the BMW 750 or whatever. I got, you know what I'm saying? I had my Range Rover, but it's really just a matter of it felt good, but it wasn't nothing that like made me. You know what I'm saying? I could have it, I could not have it. And it was just at a point where I wanted to take that money and invest it in real estate and really things that's going to really build equity over time. And I might go back in a couple of years and buy it again. But when I do buy it again, it's going to be coming from a different place because where I really want to drive it, and it's not just marketing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I was going to ask, but even going into the marketing side of it, I've seen two different takes. I've seen the take where, any publicity is good publicity, but then I've seen people say that's bad marketing because it brings you the wrong type of client. What was it for? What was it for you?
It was great marketing for me. I mean, so the first thing it did, it drove my costs down on any type of advertisement because I had a light green. I call it the Green Goblin, light green. Amazing, man. I remember when I did a mentorship, and at the time it was like $5,000. Nobody would buy it. I got the Lamborghini, and then I got like 27 people. I mean, I bought pretty much most of the Lamborghini in the first month that I had it just because people were joining my mentorship. Because, people want to see. You know what I'm saying? So I don't regret it. It was just at a point where if I had to start over again in that same position, I would get it again. But now it's just like my growth has extended to the point where I don't need to do it. I don't need the flash to attract people because my name speaks for itself, you know.
Now, was also getting rid of the stuff, did it become too much? Was it like too expensive at a time, or you just really just ain't need it?
It wasn't too expensive because the business is doing really well.
Mhm.
It was just at a point where I needed to clear some mental space. Like
Okay.
I felt like I was having a lot of stuff.
Mm.
And a lot of stuff, it was just like managing, like, cause I got my mansion here in Atlanta, and all my cars, like my Lamborghini and my Cullinan, they were in Atlanta. But I got to the point where I wasn't in Atlanta
So you
as
didn't have it
much.
with you?
Correct.
Oh,
I didn't even have it with me. I
wow.
just had it when I came to Atlanta. And at first I was coming to Atlanta like probably 50-50. Then it got to the point where I was really building my foundation in my home city, which is St. Louis, Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm realizing that I'm here like 2080. So I'm like, I just got the cars just sitting there. You know what I'm saying? At that point, they're not a luxury anymore. It's just a liability. So I'm just like, why am I keeping it? I can go buy it again if I want to, but right now, and I wasn't about to have it in St. Louis. You know what I'm saying?
So I guess there's some transparency for people that's like, because everybody want to get the flashy stuff when they get some money, right? Especially like if you never had it before.
Right.
So I guess when you bought the Lamborghini like outright.
Oh no, I had a note on it.
Okay.
So
okay.
I had a note. I was I think my note on it was like $5 to $6K a month somewhere.
Damn. Shit.
Maybe it was around $4K, but my I think it was about $4K because my Rolls Royce Cullinan, that was like $6,500.
Damn.
A month.
So when you how do you sell it? Like in that again
So
for the people that don't know.
This is another reason why I sold the Lamborghini. So I paid about $270 for the Lamborghini.
And you still had that note, a $4,000 car note?
No. That's how much it cost.
Okay.
But I didn't pay, you know what I'm saying? I paid my down payment and stuff like that. But that's how much it totally cost.
Okay.
When I sold it, I actually sold it for like $300 and something thousand, even though I drove it for like 3 years because the value was actually going up in it. So I actually made money, and all the money I had paid into it, I got like $130,000 check for selling it. So I'm just like, if I'm not there and I'm making a profit because it was really coming up, the value of it was actually increasing, which was crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, that's different. Usually you hear people say like cars are liabilities.
Exactly. But no, it made me money while I had it. And it made me money when I sold it. Now, the Cullinan was a different story. I'm pretty sure I lost like $100,000 selling that because of depreciation or whatever. But for whatever reason, the Lamborghini, man, I made money.
So on the Cullinan side, right?
Yeah.
What was something that you learned through that entire experience?
How fast some cars' values go down. You know what I mean? Like, I loved it though. The Cullinan was my favorite. I love the Cullinan more than the Lamborghini because with the Cullinan, it was just like I felt like a boss. You know what I'm saying? I felt like a athlete in a Lamborghini, but I felt like a boss in a Cullinan. So I don't regret it, man. Like I said, like if that's your motivation to go out here and start making it, and that's a drive for you to go out and get a nice vehicle and stuff like that, by all means, do it because hey, it definitely propelled me up. You know what I'm saying? It just taught me by having it. It might be the opposite answer of what you expecting, but what it taught me is that for me coming from the streets of St. Louis, not having my dad around, my mom having me when she was 15 years old, growing up in a gang infested area. You know what I mean? Dad been in jail my whole life, and the fact that I could come out and buy a mansion and have a Lamborghini and have Rolls Royce, like to me, that was kind of like I made it. But then I think over time, my mentality started to shift where it wasn't about things, it was about me, and it was about like who I'm becoming, and who I was becoming, doing what I was doing. Actually, I was losing myself. Like I was losing myself in all the speaking engagements, all the podcasts. I was losing myself on views and the women who comes with that, right? Because then the women, like some of them don't got your best interest, especially out here in Atlanta. Some of them trying to use you for your money and trying to use you for what you got. So all of those things, like I had to step back and find who I was again and get back to my core, get back to my grounding, back to my meditation. And then as I'm doing that, having the nicer things like that, it just, not bad for having it, it just didn't appeal to me as much. So now I feel like my core is in a good place, right? I'm grounded. My business is doing well. My financial firm, which I own a financial firm, is like propelling. I feel like I was letting my team down because I was being lost in the
What,
other world.
let's talk about that. Like, what does that look like for people? Because I hear it, right?
Yeah.
But I don't. The people that might not be able to see it, right?
hmm
Explain some of that. Like, I guess you. What does that look like to you when you say losing yourself?
People knowing who you are. Like I came from St. Louis, you know what I'm saying? Like outside of my town, didn't nobody really know who I was. You know,
Mm-hmm.
now all of a sudden I'm going to Bahamas and people recognizing me from Instagram and people
Mm-hmm.
recognizing me just all over. People saying, "Man, you helped me. You did this," and you know sometimes you start feeling I start feeling myself a little bit. Then attracting the kind of girls that probably I wouldn't have attracted back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And now all of a sudden I'm attracting them, and they got motives. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Um, um, you know, my team, which is my financial firm, was always my bread and butter. That's
Mm-hmm.
really where I got my start. That's where I became a millionaire. That's where I did all before any of this social media world and any of that. I was already a millionaire because I was already crushing it
Mm.
in my business. But I think in an effort to step away from that, I got caught up in wanting to be around every podcast circle and going
Mm.
around and moving in that direction. And I think my team, it was a big wake up call because I thought my team was my business, my systems, my structures was at a good place that it can sustain itself without me. But I found out really quick, man, because I had a domino effect. I started losing employees left and right. One left, and another one left, and another one left. All of a sudden, like I didn't have a choice. Like I had to step back in
Mm.
and admit my failure of thinking that I was there when I really wasn't there.
Mm.
So I had to really truly come back in St. Louis to truly save my company and build the right way and build the correct infrastructures and the correct systems and hire the correct people and really make sure that the morale of the company was up and running, because if it wasn't, I would have kept this life, but I would have lost my core business.
Mm.
So when you say, man, you disappeared, it was like it was out of both my core needing to, but number two, it was out of
Had to.
necessity
Yeah.
because I had to step in and be a leader, bro. I was failing to be a leader for the flashing lights.
Wow. Yo, so that's a great segue or a
Yeah.
point to talk about. A lot of times people think you have to go, especially in the entertainment industry, like you gotta be out, you gotta network, you gotta
Yeah.
do all these things, be around the people, take the pictures with the people. How much of
Yeah.
that is true compared to doing too much from your
You
experience?
want to know what I found out, man? I thought in order to maintain my name, I had to continue to be show my face,
Mm.
so to speak, be at every event, support everybody, and do all of these things. But what it actually did, and I didn't know that until now, it actually diminished my presence
Mm.
to a certain extent because everybody like expected to see me. I wasn't like now if I step in a room, like I did an event yesterday for the first time in a while. Everybody was coming up to me, man, you made it. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like, wow, like I haven't seen you in a while. It actually propelled me because my access is not granted to everybody
Mm.
anymore. So it's like I actually prepared myself and positioned myself to be more of a person of influence because I don't show up for everything.
Mm.
So now when I show up, it's a big thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a difference, but as far as like even posting, right? And this is bad. I know I got to get better. I got to start posting more because I used to post all the time. Instagram algorithm just made me
Yeah.
piss me off, man, so much, man, that
Yeah.
it's like I just kind of stopped for a minute. But even then, like you very rarely see me posting about my programs as much. I'm marketing behind the scenes, very niche, very specific, referrals. I'm doing a lot of Facebook ads. People who go to my page, Marvin Mitchell Official, they'll start getting followed around on Facebook. And I'm doing webinars. I'm doing a lot of those things, which is some work, which is some action, but it's not where I have to post all the time.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. I hired somebody to post for me, but when you hire somebody to post for you all the time, they don't really sometimes know how to get the feeling of what you really want in that particular moment. So that's something that now I'm going to start back doing and getting into. You inspired me to start getting back on the podcast and really just, showing my face. And because I don't know if y'all know, man, I heard, man, Jay speak Yesterday, man, this dude is
That
a
was
beast,
funny.
man.
No.
This dude is a beast, man. Because I never heard you speak.
Yeah.
I heard you on your podcast, but I never heard you in a place where you was just speaking. I was like, man, that dude is a talent. You
Man, I
gifted,
appreciate
man.
it, bro.
And you was inspiring everybody in the crowd.
Bro, it's crazy the feedback that I got after. I didn't prepare. I literally was like freestyle, like
Yeah.
got out of the car. I was working.
Right.
I was tired.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know what to talk about, but
that's why people love you, because like I told you, you came across and you come across like this as super just like authentic. Like you don't have to, you ain't trying to hide who you are. You told people, look, I ain't getting paid for this. Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't got to listen to me, but that's the reason why people listen to your podcast, because they know there's so many fake people out here. People are just looking for something real. People don't want a fake flower. They want something real. And sometimes something real dies. A leaf falls off. You know what I'm saying? But if you ask anybody, you want a fake plant or a real plant, what do they say?
The real one.
Why?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let me ask you this, bro. What's different now?
Yeah.
Right? Like you had to go back home. You had to get some things right with your business. But like, like again, we don't know, right? So I look at the interviews and it was like you was getting to it and you had millions of views and things like that. And you was, like you said, you was always a million before you even got on the scene. You had to go reset.
Yeah.
To most people, they don't understand it because like we said, nigga, you was doing good.
Yeah.
What's the difference now? Like, how does it look now compared to what it looked like then?
Inner work, man. It's just really, truly inner work, getting a life coach and really finding out. What I found out is, in St. Louis, I had my business since I was 21, bro. I didn't have to network because I just worked. I just grinded hard at the business, knocking on doors, doing what I had to do. So I never truly had like my 20s, my early 20s to really be out here doing things and like out here, partying and doing all that stuff because I was so focused on my business. So when I first started finding this Atlanta market, the social media market, it was just like, dang, it was like a sense of validation. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like, these are my people. Because I'm from St. Louis, and where I was doing my seminars, I didn't really meet a lot of successful Black people like myself. So this is my first time seeing a lot of successful Black people. And I think I kind of lowered who I was and kind of made, it was almost like I was like inferior to people when quite frankly, I found out obviously over time that I was the shit in my own right. But see, I didn't know that at first. I had to find that out. And sometimes people would use you, abuse you, and all that other stuff. And I'm still seeking validation. So I think the biggest thing for me is realizing that I am the fucking validation. Like, I don't need validation from anybody. I don't need anybody's approval. You don't gotta like me. You don't gotta invite me to your events. And I'm still me. And people still follow me because they know that I'm real. They know that I'm authentic. So it was really a lot of deep down work within myself, realizing that I don't need anybody to validate me. I validate myself. And that was the biggest difference for me.
Okay, for somebody, because again, like, we don't know these things until we come out of it.
Right.
We don't know that we losing ourselves or we wouldn't lose ourselves.
Yeah.
What are some of the telltale signs that if you look back on it, like, damn, like that was the first mistake, or that's what happened where I lost myself, so somebody might can see it before it happened for themselves?
When you don't fully know who you are and you feel like it's in a tailspin and you don't have anything grounding you, whether it be spiritual, whether it be meditation, there's nothing like God, like nothing's really grounding you, and you just flowing and rolling with the punches. Don't get me wrong. It's some seasons you're gonna have to just grind. Don't get me wrong. But if you start to feel like you are losing yourself and you feel like things are moving so fast and you're not stopping, and your body is moving faster than your soul is moving. And you're not able to be still. You feel like you always got to be moving. The Bible says, man, be still and know that I am God. And when you can't be still like that, those are signs that you may need to just step back and just find yourself in that particular process. Because shit, we gonna move regardless. Are we moving in the right directions? Is really what it's all about.
And you would say the thing that you found when you were still was self-validation?
Self-care, self-validation, like knowing who I am, knowing that I've never had to be the type that had to be popular. You know what I'm saying? I was always the type who could stand on my own. So it really took me almost being like almost blacklisted in a way from some of the people in this community that made me kind of sit back and just see I'm not like them. Like, you know how like what Kendrick say, they not like us, man. I
Yeah.
just had to realize that, like, no, I'm one-on-one. They not like me. I mean, people, it's possible to do business and still have integrity. It's possible to not have to like be fake in front of people that you really don't like. It's possible to go out and, you know, meet with real authentic people, even if you know that they can't give you anything in return at the time. Like, it's possible to just be a damn person who is a person.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not everything has to be a game. Not everything has to be 50, 40, what is it, 40 laws of power? 48 laws of power?
Yeah.
Not everything has to be like that.
It doesn't. Yeah, everything don't have to be manipulation.
Everything don't have to be manipulation. Some stuff can just be authentic, personal relationships built. And guess what? When you come in your authentic self, you're going to be a threat to people who are not in their authentic self. So you can start feeling a certain way because the people who are not being authentic and they living their life fake and unauthentic, when they start to leave you, or you can just be like, you know what? When you're moving in a different direction, not everybody can follow you. One of the things I liked about the Lamborghini when I did have it is that it only had 2 seats, which means not everybody could get in with me. You know what I'm saying? I had to take some journeys by myself.
Yeah, facts. Yeah, what because you said like almost blacklisted. Do you feel like I guess some of your peers in the in the space like kind of like was trying to alienate themselves from you?
Yeah, over time. Like, so what happens is when you really hit in this particular industry, you know what I mean? And people see that you have a unique gift. My unique gift was teaching people about how to leverage their money with life insurance, how to become their own bank. And at first, at least to everybody else, people didn't know I already had $1 million business. You know what I'm saying? So to everybody else, it was like, oh, he talented. He can help my community, right? Which was cool. I sat in the background. I was doing what I could to help everybody. I was doing what I could to elevate some of the entrepreneurs, even in this very circle. You know what I mean? But then after a while, people on the outside, they start recognizing that, man, this dude know what he's talking about. So your following start growing. But sometimes when your following starts growing too fast, you get some people who want to, support you to say, man, I got you, I'm gonna mold you. But you also got a lot of big people who want to see you doing good, but they don't want to see you doing good too fast.
Or better than them.
So or better than them. So then it's almost like they try to find a way to kind of push you down, like that crabs in the bucket type of mentality. They try to find a way to kind of push you down or sun you or different things like that. You know what I'm saying? And I ain't about to be sunned. So if you ain't like kissing the damn
ring on that finger, yeah.
Then some people's like, nah, he ain't fit. He ain't one of us. Like, and it's the thing I had to realize that you're right. I'm not like y'all. You know what I'm saying? And I don't put myself on a pedestal. I'm not better than anybody. People are a lot better than me in a lot of areas, but at the same time, I know myself. I know what I'm not good at. I know what I am good at. And I'm also not going to sell my soul, because what profits a man if he gains the whole world but loses his own soul?
Yo, talk about the community space or just like, the coaching space.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody, well, not everybody, a lot of people that do the coaching things, I don't think they're prepared for what comes with it. Like, we know the good thing, you can make money, but talk about some of the downsides of getting into it before you're ready.
A lot of people, man, they're learning about the coaching space through people who are being successful with coaching. Some of those people are really good at selling, but they don't have infrastructure. Like, they can get people to join their inner circles and different things like that all day, but they don't have a team. They don't have the systems that's going to make that sustainable. So you bind into something from a standpoint of just pure flash. But what I'm saying, when you're doing your due diligence, and I'll tell you about some of the downsides, but when you're doing your due diligence on any coach, of course you want to make sure that coach is somebody who you can relate to, somebody who you feel that, your gut spirit tells you something good. But you got to go a step further than that. Like, what does their team look like? What systems do they have? What does their fruit look like? Because you should know them by their fruit. And if you ain't willing to go that deeper, you could be getting misled and sold something that ain't right. So the coaching space is now, because it became such a popular thing, a lot of people are getting into it without any skill set. and they're not developing the skill set. They're being inauthentic, and they're trying to copy somebody else's skill set and saying that it's their skill set. Like, for example, a person might have a digital book, and they just created a digital book. They sold one copy, and now all of a sudden they're the guru on digital books and making money offline. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of that. So because of that, people who are legitimate, it actually diminishes us, and people are untrustworthy, and they think everything is a scam because, quite frankly, maybe they've been scammed before. But as a coach, some of the downsides is that some people, like, I got a lot of success stories, but some people come into it, and they, because of what they're hearing on the coaching side, they're expecting to come in and have a get-rich-quick scheme, which means they want to come in, and they've been in for 2 weeks. They like, I don't got $100,000 yet. You know what I'm saying? But they're not willing to put in the work. They're not willing to put in the time. I'm more so trying to push people away and let people know that, hey, this ain't something. I'm not trying to make you a millionaire in a week, because wealth gathered quickly will soon be diminished. I'm not just trying to get you rich, but what we got to do is we got to develop your mindset to go along with the money, because what happens is, let's just talk about people who win a lottery. They end up going broke worse than they were in debt. A lot of football players, you know what I'm saying, they got that money quick. And they end up within 5 years after the football career is over, broke, bankrupt. So you can actually hurt yourself and become in a worse position. If I gave you like people say, well, if somebody just gave me $1 million, for some people's mindset, even if I gave them $1 million, within about 6 months, they're going to be in more financial trouble than they was before I gave them the $1 million, because they haven't took the time to develop it. And I say your money can only grow as fast as your mindset. Because if it grows faster than your mindset, it has to return. So if this is my money and this is my mindset, and this is my mindset, then what's going to happen is that money is going to decrease to my mindset. But if my mindset is here, even if my money is here and I lose it, I'm going to find a way to get that money back. So over time, what I'm doing is I'm teaching people that, and it ain't just about money, bro. You know, a lot of reasons why people are broke, and it has nothing to do with financial skill set.
What is it?
They broke because things like bitterness, unforgiveness in their heart, like trauma that they haven't healed from. And all of that, money is energy. So if you holding on to all of that negative energy and you're not getting that release and you're not getting that healed, guess what? Your money is going to follow that energy. But if you get healed from that, it's like going to a beach, man, with you got a treasure chest. And that treasure chest is filled with sand. But there's gold everywhere. And you try to just keep going for the gold and trying to keep putting gold into that treasure chest, but it won't fit. Why? Because it's filled with all that sand. So you got to take some time to actually dump the sand out of that box, and now it's empty, which means now all the treasure can fit. So we running in circles trying to make something fit that it can't, because we haven't released anything that's going to allow us to make it happen.
Wow, that's real. And even when we talk about the money and the mindset thing, right? It hit home because, you know, just being transparent, I didn't make my first 6 figures until I moved to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Right? And even then, when I first moved to Atlanta, like you said, like I kind of went through the money that I did make. And like now that I've been through that, my mindset has definitely elevated. And like even like one of my goals is to make a 6 figures in a month. And I'm going to continue to speak on that because like I've never done that, right? And I know the people the entrepreneurs that I talk to, that's like easy to them. That's what they like, man, I did that. You know what I'm saying? But for me,
I'm gonna elevate that to 6 figures in a day. I'll show you how. You definitely could do that.
Yeah. So like, but I say that to say, for me, I can say that confidently because my mindset has elevated, right? And then now it's like, man, for somebody who's just made 6 figures and is working things like that as an entrepreneur, to have that go from a year to a month is like, how do you think you could do that? It's because I have the tools in my mind and my mental to know how to put the systems in place, to know how to get things in position to be able to do that, right? So, and I can say that confidently. Whereas though before it's like, man, I don't know how I'm about to get $100,000 in a year. You know what I'm saying? So like, when you said that, I was like, wow, that's real.
One of the things my mentor told me, man, he said it's easier to make $100,000 in a month than it is to make $100,000 in a year. Then he said it's actually easier to make $100,000 in a day than it is to make $100,000 in a month.
Why you say that?
And if you think about it, like, let's just say you're making $80,000, right? And you working for the corporate ladder and you're trying to get to $100,000. Well, in order to get to that 100 grand, you're gonna have to prove yourself. You're gonna have to work hard. You're gonna have to be like on your pins and needles. You're gonna have to take a lot of BS from a lot of people that's your boss, that's people over you. And then when you finally get to the $100,000, you gotta answer to more people. You got more stress, you got more pressure. Like you trying to compete against several people for that same promotion, that same raise, and now you just got $100,000. And now you stress, but you too comfortable because now you're making $100,000. So you know it ain't enough long term, but also at the same time, you're too comfortable to let it go. So you can't give up something that's good to get to what's great, because what's good is what's paying the bills. So you end up stuck in that life cycle for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're thinking about how can I make $100,000 in a month, you can't think about working harder. You got to think about strategies. You got to think about working smarter. So if I'm trying to make $100,000 in a month, I got to think about what do I need? It's a who, not how. Who can help me to get there, right? What systems do I need to have in place? What type of leverage do I need to make multiple people happen at the same time? You know what I'm saying? So now it's strategy, and I actually work less once I put that strategy in place to make $100,000 in a month. Well, then when you figure that out, you realize, well, if I can do this, I can leverage and do $100,000 a day. So now if I know I can, like, if I'm worth $5,000 and I sold 20 packages for $5,000 over a month, which may be 100, why can't I sell 20 packages in a day? So what strategies do I have to have in place? Well, I need to get a bunch of people in the room at the same time, and I need to fine-tune my offer. I need to fine-tune my craft. I need to get really good at this same message I've been giving to people one-on-one, and I need to do it one-to-many. So now if I can get 300 people in a room and I'm presenting over time, 1 day, 2 day, 3 days, what I have to offer, and I'm getting out of those 100, 200 people, I'm getting 20 people interested. They all say yes to me at the same time and pay me. Now all of a sudden I just made $100,000, boom, just in a day, and I got the rest of the week and the rest of the month to strategize how I'm gonna do it again. So, bro, and that's coming from somebody. I think one of my biggest moments, bro. And I went from somebody. Don't get me wrong. I had made $1 million, $2 million in my financial company. But once I learned that one strategy that is easier to make a lot of money in a little bit of time than it is to make a little money in a lot of time, bro, I was able to do over $5 million in a day.
Sheesh.
Yeah, so I'm still.
Was that on when was this?
This was about 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
So this is still after pandemic.
Yeah, this was after the pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it an event?
Yeah, it was a virtual event that I put on, like educating people about life insurance, educating people about real estate, educating people about stuff that I talk about all the time. But when you put it all together, people was just like, wow. People was like amazed. Their mind was going crazy. So I had like a mentorship lined up for individuals for a year to kind of train them, give them the blueprint. And I still do that today. Give them the blueprint on how they can do some of the same things. Started to get a lot of success stories. The buzz started going around. My name started to grow, and got a couple of people who helped out with that. Shout out to Ash, Storm, Leroy during that time. We kind of pulled together and we made this happen. And yeah.
You did
the rest
$5
is
million
history.
in a day.
And my mentor, Myron Golden, he's still to this day, I believe we hold the record for how much we did in a day. And we did it twice.
Damn, that's crazy, bro. Yo, let me ask you this, because I was talking about the pandemic. What has changed, bro? Because I seen, like, during the pandemic, a lot of people made a lot of money, right? And now you start to see them same people having to sell them cars, or having to, like, I don't know, sell a house and things like that. Like, what do you think some of the biggest changes now?
Two big things. Number one, people had more loose money during that time. Number two, this whole, even though the opportunity business has been around for a long time, I felt like it got to the point where, like, if you were an influencer, you was a celebrity more than like an NBA player. You know what I'm saying? People started to recognize you from everywhere. Some of the podcasts that started being really big, like David Shan, Social Proof, Earn Your Leisure, different things like that. And that started to give a bigger voice to the entrepreneurship community. And then people wouldn't have shit to do. So they was sitting at home just trying to figure out, this their first time realizing that going back to work wasn't an option, and they was trying to figure it all out. So they was just like, okay, well, I need to learn. I need to buy a course. I need to do something. What eventually happened over time is, number one, you started to get a lot of people who entered into the game in the space who wasn't qualified to do it, and they started scamming people, and all of this stuff started happening. So then a lot of that word started to go around, that buzz started to go around, so people lost a lot of trust in it. grocery prices started going up, so people was restricted. Um, People who were good during the pandemic didn't have the real skill set to transition once the pandemic was open, because when things get tougher, they're changing their messages. So one day somebody is a crypto expert, the next day they a real estate expert, the next day they something else, and they changing and not maintaining and not sustaining anything. And people got oversaturated and they got tired of all the same events, and there was no creativity again. Everybody was doing the same thing because people was learning from the same people, so everybody started doing the same thing. So the people who sustain themselves now, when the economy turns back around, those are the people who are going to be on top and they win. The people who fall off, they just didn't have anything to stand on too much in the first place. And what happens is they started outliving their actual income. So when the money started coming, it's easy. And this is a lesson for anybody in entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is going to go through ebbs and flows. The biggest mistake I see people make is when they on that flow, you know what I mean? They think it's always going to be there. So they don't set nothing aside. They start spending money on everything. So the problem is when that inevitable ebb comes, they ain't got nothing. They got to start selling stuff because they got taxes, tax bill. People weren't used to making as much money as they was making. Then taxes came, and all of a sudden they didn't know how to pay those taxes because they wasn't saving in it, and people was in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So I think all of those things kind of came to a halt, and the market will shake the people who not real. The market will find a way to shake those people and remove them from the equation at some point. Damn. You can only be inauthentic for so long before the market takes over.
Yeah. Yo, so as somebody that's about to trying to get into coaching and stuff like that, I feel like I'm too late. I feel like I'm late. I feel like there's a bunch of courses out there. Everybody doing master classes, doing virtual events or masterminds and things like that. It's oversaturated.
The reason why you ain't too late because you are you. You know what I'm saying? Nobody got your story. Nobody got your personality. Nobody walk like you, talk like you, laugh like you, authentic like you. Like you your own unique individual. You know what I'm saying? So I can't compete with you on your level. People who doing millions in the coaching spaces can't compete with you on your level. But I will tell you is that where you come in is you that voice of reason. You know what I'm saying? Because you came in relating to everybody else, because you came in thinking that everybody was a scam anyway. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It took you a while to be like, damn, it's people who can for real help me out here.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So number one, you got that where you can relate to the same feelings that everybody else had. The second thing that you got is don't diminish your humility and your authenticity, because and you trustworthy. You know what I'm saying? So you got those things that some people don't have, because a lot of people came in the game just saying, I'm going to make you $1 million, I'm going to make you $1 million, I'm going to make you $1 million. I ain't never once heard you say, I'm going to come in and make everybody a millionaire. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Not to say you can't, but you ain't coming in lying about your income. You're not coming in saying, oh, I'm already a millionaire, I'm going to help you to do $1 millionaire. You came in straight, man. I just started making 6 figures and I just got this money. You know what I'm saying? I just got this money. So I'm just trying to show you
it's possible.
How to get it's possible for me. Yeah. I wasn't even making $100,000. I came now making multiple 6 figures. Like, I ain't going to teach you how to be a millionaire yet, but I can teach you how to do what I did. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the voice that people are looking for. So you ain't caught up with all of the negative voices from the past. You coming in from a clean slate. The new generation is coming in and giving people what they want, which is realness, which is truth, which is authentic, which is not. I love what you told this girl yesterday. Because, again, we did that mastermind together. This is my favorite part. This girl said, well, I want to help people. I want to coach people, but I don't know what to do. I'm confused. I don't know where I want to go. You know what I'm saying? And she was really struggling to find out what her thing was. And you said that thing might be your thing. You know how many other women out here that's confused? They don't know what to do. They feeling like they a mom. They doing this. They doing this. They want to find a place, but they don't got no place. I forgot exactly what you said, but you was like, you can start a whole bunch of community for confused women who don't know what they want in life, and you can figure it out as you go, and they can figure it out along with you, and that's real. That like takes so much pressure off. Like, you don't have to be somebody that you're not.
You don't. You
can show people right where you are. And I think the biggest thing is the reason why people say they too late is because it's people coming in, that made their millions and different things like that. But if I'm somebody who getting started, think of it this way. If I'm a freshman in high school and a senior was trying to teach me, as much as I appreciate the fact that the senior's trying to teach me, I can't learn that much from a senior because I'm a freshman. It's like that senior is almost disconnected to what I'm going through as a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
I might have to learn from a sophomore. That's somebody who just one step ahead of me because they can more relate. It wasn't that long ago they was in my pain.
Yeah.
So they're going to relate to me more. So I'm probably going to want to learn from a sophomore rather than a senior. So it's the same thing in the coaching space, in your situation. When you coaching, you just speaking to where you were 5 years ago. So if 5 years ago you didn't have any of this, 5 years ago you was struggling, you was trying to make six figures, you was doing this. That's who you talking to. And as long as you talking to that person who you were 5 years ago, you can always elevate that person to where you are now.
Yeah, it's funny. I seen Donnie Wiggins talk about this before, and I thought it was one of the most I don't want to say profound, but like it opened my eyes.
Yeah.
And she was saying basically how a lot of people don't start coaching because they want to help somebody get from A to Z and they don't know how to, right?
Yep.
But people will pay to help them get to A to B.
Exactly.
Right? And it's like as long as you can help somebody get from A to B or C, D, whatever it is, you can charge for that. And I'm like, damn, I never even thought of that.
Yep.
Like shit.
Yep.
Yeah. That's,
like right now, like let me ask you this: do you believe you have some value that people would pay $5K for what you teach?
I do. I just got to find them people, to be honest. I think I do.
Don't even worry about the people.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, all you got to do, you got a voice. The people gonna come. Your sheep know your voice. So you ever heard build it and they will come? Like they gonna come. That's the least of your worries about finding the people. You just got to find your inner self-expression and your offer. When you find that, the people gonna magnetize to what you got. So if you know you got something you can do for $5,000, then the next question is there 20 people who are willing to pay you to mentor them and guide them? More importantly, right now, because like you said, in about a month, 2 months from now, 6 months from now, people ain't gonna be able to have the time they're gonna have with you right now.
Yeah.
So if I'm somebody and I'm looking for a mentor, I'd rather get somebody who's at a level where they progressing, that they got more time to spend with me right now because you haven't made it like you want to make it just yet, which means that you gonna show me as you do it.
Yeah.
Then eventually, once you make it, you still gonna be good. You know what I'm saying? But now you gonna have other coaches that's teaching that. Like they ain't gonna get as much access and more personal time with you. So it's never gonna be a time where people gonna be able to sit down on a Zoom call with you once a week ever again.
Yeah, and then I still have the I just understand it, right?
Right.
And I'm not saying that I wouldn't care, but I still have the empathy right now because I don't want to be looked at as a fraud or a scammer. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Whereas though, once I start learning, I already know, like, man, look, this is on you. I gave you the opportunity. If you ain't do it, that's on you. Yeah. I'm not there yet though, right? Because I want everybody to win because that's just you
got to get over that.
Yeah, but I say that to say that's to your benefit.
Yeah.
That's just where I'm at right now, right? I already know that because I hear it, right? So I know I'm going to get there, but I'm just not there yet. And that's just me being transparent. So it's like you probably should work with me now because you're
going to be more committed and dedicated to making sure for somebody to have personal success than before, because eventually you're going to find out that no matter how much you help people, there ain't nothing you can do for them, but you ain't there yet.
I ain't there yet, but I know it.
You ain't lost that kind of hope.
Yeah, right. So, and that's just me being real because like sometimes you gotta put your hand on the stove, right? So I've learned that. Like people already told me that, right? Yeah. But it's like, you always think you could be the one to change,
right?
And I just know how, know how it goes. Right. So I'm just being transparent. Like you might want to get it now because once I learn that lesson, I don't got that much time with your ass.
Bro. I see what you're doing. You gonna be running. I'm talking about thousands of people. Are going to be wanting to come to you. You're going to have lines standing out. You're going to be having to tell people that, I'm sorry, you can't get in. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be that effect that you like, because you're not going to want to lose that personal touch. So you're going to have 1,000 people wanting to get in the door, but you're going to say, I'm sorry, I got room for 50 people. That's all I got room for. Try again next year. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's where you're about to be.
Yeah, I thank you, bro.
It's just coming. It's going to flood in. And like I said, just stay true to yourself.
No, I appreciate
because
that.
the money gonna be flowing. The money coming easily, frequently, and abundantly, and you're gonna help a lot of people make a lot of money.
So. No, I appreciate that. Yo, how did you we talk about being a bank, right? Like, how did you get into the insurance thing, and like when did you learn that?
So, I wasn't teaching everybody else this because I've been a financial advisor for 20 years. So I started at Edward Jones when I was 21, and then I started my own financial firm about 15 years ago. And between the time that I left Edward Jones and I started my own company, I ran into another company who dealt with like high affluent, high net worth individuals, like multi-million plus. And I realized that this is something that they were teaching all of these people, and it's something that could be used by everybody, not just the ultra wealthy. But we didn't. I was in the industry, and I had never learned that, So I started doing it for myself, and I was only 26, and I started doing it myself, and I started seeing some of the benefits and seeing some of the growth and borrowing against it and listening to their advice, buying real estate and doing things like that. But again, my financial firm, I didn't teach other people because I was always teaching investments, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and all that type of stuff. And honestly, it wasn't until I went to Atlanta, and I think I credit one of the first major podcasts that I did was Shan's.
Okay.
And when I did his podcast, I'm sitting up here talking about the my securities business, right? And he kept asking about my insurance. Do I do insurance and stuff? And I was like, yeah, but at the same time, insurance agents had a stigma, like you didn't really want to talk to somebody in insurance. If somebody told you they sell insurance, you actually running the opposite way. So I was actually trying to like hide from it, saying, yeah, I do, but I mostly focus on this. I'm full service. I'm comprehensive. Like I do it all. But he had so many interesting questions about it that I just kind of say, okay, fine. I just went in on that. And then that episode blew up. And then I did one with Ash Cash. Ash Cash. Yeah. That mug blew up.
Yeah,
I'm still the number one show on his podcast ever. I think it got almost 1 million views, like 850,000 views.
Yep.
It just blew up. And all of a sudden, everybody was wanting to know about it. This is a thing. Like,
you did 1.4 with Bama and Kevo, I think. Like, yeah, you were going crazy.
Here's a lesson. What do you do well that you actually hide, that you hiding from, that if you expose, the world can learn something from? And that's what I had to do because I hit it. And once I started doing it, I'm talking about everybody, bro. Everybody. I was speaking on every stage. I was on the Breakfast Club with Charlamagne. I mean, I was doing like everything, and I was trying to hide that. So it really started beefing up, like because not a lot of people was talking to people in our community about these unique things. And I was just naive to think that people knew, but then nobody knows. So that's how I kind of blew up on that. And then I started building the team because I couldn't handle all the appointments. I started building the team, and I haven't done my own appointment in years because I'm just training my team and issuing out those leads to my team. So that actually provided me with a lot of free time as well. So I just make money in just a lot of different areas right now, and it's something that was kind of unexpected. So I think at the end of the day, what was the difference? You'll love this. I just started speaking on cameras. I just started letting people know what I did.
Wow.
And the only thing it took is just one person to catch on to the message and cast it out to their audience. And then their audience resonated with the message. All of a sudden, more people wanted it. And
so let me ask you this. So you said you was talking with David Shands. You wasn't trying to go into like the insurance part of it. But the interviews I had, like you're teaching people how to like borrow against their life insurance policy to make other investments.
Yep.
Was that something that you actually did at that moment or no?
No, I was doing that.
Okay.
Because I had started my own policy like 10 years prior to that, and I was doing those things. I just didn't talk about it because I was like, this is what I did because I learned from here, but at the same time, I wasn't focused on it enough to start teaching everybody else.
Okay. So I guess for the people that don't know, like it's so many videos out there, but I guess for the sake of this platform, what was the first time that you was like you borrowed against your life insurance? Walk me through that step by step. Like, what made you even do that?
Because I was learning about it. So the thing about it, I was exposed to it, and I tell people this all the time: it's things that you don't know that you don't know. If you don't know that you don't, if there's things that you know that you know. If you know that you know it, you don't really need to do much because you already know it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But there are also things that you know that you don't know.
Yeah.
If you know that you don't know it,
you can learn.
You can learn, and you can go to YouTube and you can find out and you can look it up. But then there's a blind spot. These are things that you don't know that you don't know.
Yep.
If you don't know that you don't know it, how can you look it up? So it was things that I just didn't know that I didn't know. But once I was exposed to it, that's why it's so important to get into the right rooms. That's why it's so important to listen to these podcasts. That's why it's so important to to pay for these mentorships. And it ain't about necessarily what you learn all the time. Sometimes it's about what you exposed to. You can put a fish into a shark, or you can put a shark into a fish tank. They won't grow beyond the level of that fish tank. But if you put that same shark into an ocean, they're going to grow way bigger because they were exposed to it. So once I was exposed to it and that I can borrow against it to do real estate, that's what I did. I borrowed from my policy that I was building up. And at this time, I didn't even really know you can borrow from it that much. But then when I borrowed from it, I got my real estate. It was a flip. I had flipped that real estate, paid the money back, noticed that my money and my life insurance was still growing. And I was like, tax-free. I was like, this is how it's supposed to work.
Wow.
This is what they talking about.
How much did you borrow from it?
It was like, at times, like 30 grand.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think I was up to about 50 grand because you can borrow up to typically about 85 to 90% of it if you do a certain policy within 30 days.
What type of policy? How does it work? Like,
so you got two different types of policies. You got a whole life or you got an index universal life you can do this with. But the biggest thing is a lot of times people want to do the highest death benefit. 90% of policies, whole life permanent policies that are sold for the highest death benefit and the lowest cash value. But when you structuring it for use while you're living, you actually want to flip that and structure it for the lowest death benefit and the highest cash value. Because then when you do that, most of your money goes to work. And a lot of people not teaching you this because the agents get like 70% less commission if you do structure the policy this way.
Okay.
So now because all that money is now going towards your cash value that you can now borrow against it. So the benefit of it is that money continues to grow uninterrupted as if you never touched it. So there's three different types of people when it comes to money. You got a debtor, you got a saver, and then you got a wealth creator. The debtor, they go into debt. And then they spend their life attempting to get out of debt. They really just want to get to zero. They say, if I can get to zero, I will be okay. But that just means you're at zero. That just means you're debt free, but you're still at zero. There are homeless people on the street that are at zero, but that still don't mean they're in a good position. Then there's a saver. They're saving, then they're paying cash. Saving, then they're paying cash. You can't save your way to wealth. The problem is if you save and keep paying with cash, you still keep interrupting the forward momentum of your money. Then you got the wealth creators, which never stops the forward momentum of their money. What they do is they save, but then they use what's called leverage, other people's money, and then they borrow against themselves. Because they're only borrowing against themselves, there's no taxes. Their money continues to grow because they didn't take it. So if I have $100,000 in a savings account earning 5%, 1 year later I got $105,000. If I got $100,000 in a savings account and I spend $30,000, 1 year later I only got $70-something thousand. But if I got $100,000 in a cash value life insurance policy making 5%, and I borrowed $30,000, 1 year later it's still at $105,000 because I didn't actually touch that money. I just borrowed against it, so it kept growing as if I never touched it. So that's the power. If I can keep my money growing and I can borrow against it, that's a powerful thing. And what I love about borrowing from a life insurance policy instead of like a home equity line of credit or 401k, in a life insurance, when you borrow against it, by law, you don't even have to pay it back. Because if you don't pay it back, it's simply going to be it don't affect your credit, don't affect anything. If you just don't pay it back, it's going to be subtracted from your death benefit when you die. Your death benefit is always going to be typically more than the cash value. So if I got a $100,000 cash value, that means if I die, I might have a $500,000 death benefit. So if I borrow $30,000, that $30,000 plus interest would be subtracted from the $500,000. So the biggest thing to remember is,
because you still paid yours back though, right?
I was going to say that. I said, even though you don't have to pay it back, I always highly recommend it over time you do pay it back, because what that will do is it will increase your borrowing capacity in the future to do bigger projects in the future.
So you saying that you can do this within the first 30 days that you create this account?
Absolutely. Now, obviously, let me be clear, because a lot of people, I figured I had to explain this, because one time I was in a virtual Zoom meeting and I was telling people about this, and one person was wanting to put $50 a month in there. And you have a death benefit of like $500,000, right? And they thought that they put $50 in, they can borrow $500,000 within 30 days. And I'm just like, no, it don't work that way. You got to have the money in there. That doesn't make sense. Yeah. And you know, I'm saying, of course they ain't going to do that. They ain't going to just let you put down $50 and give you $500,000, right? Because everybody like would do it. And I thought that this was one person just not making sense. But then when I saw the whole room saying, oh, you can't do that, that's how I thought it was. I was like, oh, shit. Maybe I'm not explaining that good enough. So it's not that you get access to the death benefit. You only get access to what you put in the cash value, though. The benefit, though, is you say, well, isn't that my own money? Yes, but the benefit is as you're borrowing from it, it continues to compound like a snowball. The difference is if your money was in the bank and you spent $20,000
It's
gone.
gone. Yeah.
When you put it $20,000 to a life insurance policy and then you borrow 15, that $20,000 is still growing as if you never touched it. So over time, you're building like a snowball, and eventually that keeps getting bigger and bigger, and the power of the momentum keeps happening.
Okay, wait. So if I got $100,000 life insurance policy, right, and it's growing over time, but I borrow, let's say $20,000 from it, right?
Yeah.
If I wanted to, or no, let's do the 20. Like you said, I got $20,000 cash value life insurance, and I borrow 15 from it, right?
Yeah.
You say I don't have to pay it back because it'll just come off my
death benefit.
my death benefit. But let's say 3 years down the line, it says it's compounded interest, but now I want to borrow 10,000. Can I? Because I never paid the 15 back, so technically I still only had the 5. Break that down.
Yes and no. So remember, the 20,000 is still growing. So even though you only got 5,000 borrowing capacity, over time you still compounding that 20,000 as if you never touched it. So as it grows, maybe you have enough to borrow $10,000.
Because the compound on the 5.
Because the compound on the entire 20,000.
Oh, okay.
Not just the 5. Remember, you're getting compound on the entire 20,000 because it's as if you never touched it.
Yeah.
So that whole 20,000 is compound. Now you only have a $5,000 gap to borrow. But here's the difference. You're not just making interest on 5,000. Because if you had 20,000, you spent 15, you only making now interest on 5,000.
Mm-hmm.
Because you did it this way and you borrowed 15,000, you still making interest on 20,000,
right,
not the 5,000. So the 20,000 is going to compound a lot more than 5,000. But that's why you do want to pay it back, because there's multiple ways to increase your ability to borrow. Number 1, the normal growth on the account.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, there's dividends that hit the account. Number 3, the internal growth, and then number 3 is as you pay it back, it increases your borrowing capacity.
Okay, so now that we know that, you said your first one, you took the money out and you bought some property.
Yeah.
What did you buy? I guess, like, what was the?
It was just a great investment, but also it was a headache. I'm just gonna be real with you. So I flipped this house in like the hood area, right, of St. Louis, and it was like I think the property cost like $100,000 or whatever, and I was just gonna flip it. So it was probably like I thought I was gonna be able to sell it for like 150, 160. And what happened was, man, I just realized it was just people just throwing trash everywhere every single day, dogs jumping on the cars, like all kind of. I had got a tenant because I was gonna rent it out at first before flipping. I had got a tenant. The tenant after 2 days said she had to move out. I'm like, what you got to move out for? And she was like, somebody's just shooting at us and shot in my window. I'm like, what? So I went over there, and sure enough, it's bullet holes in the window, bro. So I let her off that.
Damn.
But then after that, I sold it. And what's crazy is I sold it for like 110. Somebody came out and bought it for like 110, even though. So I made a little profit on it. I just didn't see it through.
Mm-hmm.
And once I made my profit on it, then I just went ahead and paid my life insurance back off, and then I just did it again.
Wow.
So I just found out really quickly that flipping just wasn't my thing, right? Like I flipped another property, and it was a great property. I bought it for like $180,000. I was sold it for $350,000, but then the contractors was trying to get more out of it. It was just a headache, man. And then it took me forever to flip this property, 6 months, where I could have just probably just kept making money on other ways over and over and over again. So one of the things I learned with real estate, and again, I'm using my policy to do these things, borrowing against it and paying it back. But if I knew what I knew then in real estate, I would have went a lot bigger, quicker. Because the bigger the property I buy, the actually easier it is, man. I just got a 76 unit property about 3 or 4 years ago. And that 76 property, I had a couple partners attached to it. And I put in of my own money about $140,000, which thankfully I was blessed enough to be able to borrow from my policy to do so. So I put in $140,000. Now I was getting paid like 12%. So I think over time the interest that I made was like $220,000. So I made the interest off my 140, and I was like 34% equity owner, so it was paying me another $400,000. We sold it for like a $1.2 million over the initial price, and it was easy. Like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have to manage the property because it's all based off of. There was a property manager doing everything, and I had a couple partners who was taking care of the assets.
Mhm.
So, yeah, man, my Lamborghini, I actually borrowed from my policy to get that. It's $20,000 down to get the Lamborghini.
Mm.
And I said the Lamborghini, although I sold it, it made me money because a
Right.
lot of people joined my coaching program because they saw that I was successful, so to speak.
So, all
Um,
right, you said so the real estate, the quick flip wasn't as good as you would like it to be.
yeah.
Give me some real value of somebody, like, not somebody that
Mhm.
you had money, right? It's like, I don't know, you could have had a big
Yeah.
insurance policy. Somebody that really don't have a lot, I don't know, they might can get mustered up 5,000. I don't know. Give me
Yeah.
a real play that they can go out, they can get this life insurance
Yeah.
policy, they can maybe
Yeah.
save
Easy.
a year for the compound. Like, tell me some,
Yep.
like, what would you
So
do,
a lot
suggest?
of people use this who don't have a lot of money, but let's say they have debt. A lot of people use this to get out of debt 10 times faster.
Mm.
So hypothetically, let's say I got $20,000, $30,000 in debt, whether it be credit card, student loans, whatever it is. What most people do is that they pay everybody else first, and then they take whatever's left over, which is typically not much. That's why most people are saving less than 3%
Mhm.
of their income, right? Which means, let's say if I'm making 80 grand,
I like that number.
and so I'm making 80 grand, and then what's happening is I'm gonna pay my taxes because maybe I'm W-2. Then after that, paying all your bills,
Mhm.
and then after all your bills, whatever is left over, maybe you put some into like a 401k or something, and then you save whatever 2 or 3% is left over. That's what most people are doing. Well, I teach people to reposition it. So what if it's a W-2, you got to pay your taxes first. They're going to withhold it. So if you're an entrepreneur, you don't have to, which is an advantage of why people should think about being entrepreneurs. But let's say you got your W-2, but instead of just paying at your taxes, instead of you just paying all your bills, what if you took the money that you normally spent on your bills, put that into a life insurance policy, borrowed from that, then started to pay your bills down, and every time you got your check, you paid the life insurance policy first. Now that money is growing. Instead of being gone and lost forever, now that money is growing and compounding as if you never touched it. Your bills are being paid, but you also building up this big wealth, tax-free situation at the same time. So it's just repositioning. Sometimes it's not all about always about making more money. It's just about repositioning what you're already doing.
Okay, well, let's break that down some more. So if I'm okay, instead of me taking my, I don't know, $6,000 from my bills, whatever the case may
Right.
be, right? I create a life insurance policy.
Yep.
I put the $6,000 in there,
Correct.
right? And then tomorrow,
Within 30 days.
within 30 days, I borrow the $6,000 back. I pay my bills. I get paid. I do the same thing. When can I now borrow 10,000?
Well, remember,
Because
as you're doing that,
it's compounding interest.
it's compounding interest. So that
How much?
6,000 could be 5% somewhere that, but it's compounding everything. But the bigger numbers come. So at first it's only compounding on 5,000-6,000. Well, now the next time you do it, it's compounding on 12,000. Then it's compounding on 18. Well, if I'm making 100,000, if I got 6,000 earning 5%, that's only $300.
Mhm.
But now if I got $100,000 that's in there because it's been growing, snowballing over time, now that's $5,000.
Mm.
So instead of $300 over time, that turns to $5,000. Then over time, that turns into $20,000. Then over time, that turns to $30,000-$40,000. So to get it started, don't get me wrong, it takes a little minute to get it started. So this ain't no quick home run. Unless you got $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 laying around, which you could dump into it. This is gonna take a little bit of time to build. But guess what else takes time to build? Your 401k.
Mhm.
Guess what else takes time to build? Your savings account. Everything takes time to build, but at least if you're gonna do it, let's build something that's gonna be compound and it's gonna put you in a better place long term.
All right, so the 6,000 is in there, right? Let's say we're not paying it, but the 6,000 in there. Should I continue to be putting money in the cash so it can compound more, or once I create the policy, that's all it's going to compound?
That's a good point. So there's something that's called a MEC when it comes to life insurance. It's a modified endowment contract. So once you set up the policy, unless you structure it for flexibility in the beginning, there's only so much you can put into the policy based off of how it was originally set at without actually causing a taxable event. Because the government actually set a rule that they don't want people just being able to dump money in anytime they want to into these life insurance, because then they'll make it taxable just like the 401k.
Mhm.
So once you set it up, there's only a maximum line that you can contribute to. So if it gets to the point where you're making more money and you're getting more money, you wouldn't necessarily contribute to that same. I have over 8 policies. I have 8 policies now. The reason why is that as I make more money, I start a new policy because I don't want to cause that last policy to be a taxable event.
Okay, I guess I'm still just trying to understand. Like, let's use me as an example, right? So you
Yeah.
said my money I made this month, I go create this life insurance policy, right? What do I what what number am I asking for? Like, because I know policies like you got $1 million policy. Like, what?
Yeah, it depends on your age, it depends on your health, as far as how big your death benefit is. But let's just say you put in at 6,000, maybe it's gonna get you $1 million death benefit
Mm-hmm,
at your age, right?
mm-hmm,
But you can borrow against the cash value. You can't borrow against the death benefit. You
mm-hmm.
can borrow against the cash value. So over time, that cash value is growing more, and if you pass away early, your heir is gonna get the $1 million death benefit.
Mm.
But let's say a person who's 60 who does the same thing, it still works. But that same person might only their death benefit, their cash value might work the same, but their death benefit might only be 400 grand.
Okay, outside of the bills, when should you borrow against it? Like, should I be doing this all the time, or is it?
All the time. All the time. Like as it's growing up, I mean, of course you want enough money to be able to borrow from your first project, but I borrow from mine and pay it back all the time. Sometimes I borrow from it and don't pay it back right. Like I just borrowed 350 grand for my policy for a down payment on a house.
Damn.
And the reason why I did that is because in order for me to lower my interest rates, I needed to put a bigger amount down because I could have put like 150 down. But because I put that bigger amount down, I'm just going to do a cash out refinance about a month away from doing so, get that money out, lower my interest rate, and then just pay back the policy at
How
that
did you
time.
get $350,000 cash? You put that in there?
Yeah, and you got to keep in mind that when I first started doing this, I did $9,000 a year, so that was like $700 a month that I was doing. So that cash value over time got up to be 100 something thousand. But I'm also blessed enough where my business has been pretty
Yeah.
successful. So what's great about that is like, you know, I had the ability to just dump 500 grand into a new policy because the business was doing good. And I know everybody don't have the ability
Right,
to do
yeah.
that. I'm not saying that everybody can, but over time, I gave myself the flexibility in the room that as I made more money, I can dump more money
All right.
into the policy.
So okay, we're a little older, right? So let's go deeper into this.
Yeah.
Let's say I want to do this for my daughter,
Yeah.
right? So whereas
I
though when
did it
she,
for my kids too. But I got an
okay,
8-year-old, 13-year-old.
so when she gets 21 or something like that, she can borrow against it. What do you suggest that way?
Yeah, I do. If you got a baby, start one of these for your baby because then by the time they 18 or so, you can borrow against it, pay for it. They go to college, you can pay for their college education. They can borrow against it, start a business. It's really gonna get them off on the right foot. And I actually like this better than like a 529 plan for college savings because 529 they actually count that against the students for financial aid and they get less scholarship money. Life insurance doesn't count against. It doesn't even show up in the tax radar, so it don't even show up as income.
So what's a number that, like, again, when you're not talking about high 6 or 7, 8
for a child?
No, yeah, let's say somebody that's just your average person, working class person, right? What should they, again? And I guess I'm confused because you said they did change where you can't put too much money into your life insurance. Like, what's a number that I can put?
So it's no number. It's just proportional by the death benefit. So I can say I'm getting a policy. I can start as low as $200. Well, really, technically, you can start as low as $50 a month.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say $250 a month is a good starting point, or more. A lot of people want to do more, but I have people who I just had a person who dumped in 250 grand because they had the money, they had the cash.
But they let you do that.
Yeah, they gonna let you do it. It's not necessarily. It's just that once you start the policy, because you can structure it to put in how much you want to as long as you get approved for it. But once you start the policy, then you can't go in just dumping more than you originally said you was going to dump.
Okay, so explain the structure. When you say how you structure it, like what does this look like?
I can structure it where I'm doing $5,000 every single month,
mm-hmm.
or I can structure where I'm doing $60,000 every single year.
Let's say we structure from $250 a month, like, right?
$250 a month, or $6,000 a year, right?
Okay.
So I can say I'm putting in $250 every single month. Now, if I structured it linear, straight line, which you don't have to worry about that because my team will help you. We do have a company who do that. Then if you went in one day and said, okay, well, I just got this extra money, so instead of putting $250, let me put in $10,000 into that.
Mm-hmm.
Can't do that because now that's going to cause it to violate the rules that was initially set. Now you can set up some policies that says, well, I'm gonna dump in 10,000, but I can only put in $1,000 every year after that. Where as long as you structure it that way in the beginning, you follow that rule, but you can't just go in and just say, well, I want to put in $50,000 now. Like you need to start a new policy. The way that you originally set it up is going to dictate if you overfunded it or not, if you're putting too much money into it.
Okay.
So it ain't like in the beginning, if you're putting too much money in or not. It's once it starts and you agree on the terms, then you're putting too much money into it if you do too much.
Okay. I think that makes sense. So I could, let's say I'm gonna do $250 a month.
Yeah.
Right. But I started that way. I can only put $250 in a month though. Like I can't put or $6,000 a year.
Correct.
I can't do nothing more. But let's say if I want to put $10,000 in.
Yeah.
But I don't have that every month though. Like how do I do that though?
Then you can start another policy.
Okay.
So you have multiple policies to base. You can even set
so
up
if I get
single
extra
premium.
money, I should just start a new one.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
But if I start a new one, again, I'm not gonna okay. You said
You can
one
do-
time, but then after this is
Right. So you can
Okay.
do it where it's monthly for life. You can even do single premium where you put money in only one time. The only challenge with single premium is that it's still good, but you got to pay taxes on the growth from a single premium. Whereas if you structure it in a way where you're paying it over time, that falls under the rules of it's called MEC, Modified Endowment Contract, where it's tax free. So, but still, even if you had to pay tax on it, it's better than something you can get in a bank account. But I just prefer to structure mine in a way where I don't like paying tax if I don't have to.
Damn, that's fire. So
Yeah.
we could do like somebody that's struggling right now could just do that, and that could like basically change their
Yeah,
financial
see,
situation.
you got to think about it. It's not necessarily the life insurance that changes somebody's financial situation. The life insurance is just a vehicle. It's the mindset behind it. Like if I go out and I get me one of those good life insurances, but I never use it to borrow against it and buy assets, right? Then it don't matter that I got that life insurance. It's cool, I got the death benefit, but it really don't matter as much because I'm not using the mindset, the lessons behind it. What I love about this is that it gives me the ability to teach a product, but also teach the mindset behind that product. Like, how do you borrow against it effectively and go out and do real estate? How do you borrow against it and buy cash flowing assets like ATM machines and then just simply pay it back as you start making your money? How do you go out and, buy a rental property and start having that make money for you? You know what I'm saying? So as you learn the process, or if I know my money's going to keep growing as if I never touched it, how do I go out and take a loan for my policy and loan it to somebody else for a 15% interest to buy their own property, and my money is working for me 2 to 3 times off the same dollar?
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? So it's the philosophy behind that, and that's what I offer like in mentorship. It's not just about the life insurance. It's about what are some ways that you can actually get the bag and increase your revenue and make go to sleep money, which means every time I go to sleep and I wake up, it's more money in my bank account than it was the day
Yo,
before.
give me 3 quick tips that's like something that you would coach. Like this
Yeah.
might just be free game. Like you probably
Yeah.
only get this when somebody pay a client that pay you.
Yeah.
Right? Like what's 3 things that you taught and that really works?
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand when it comes to. I'm gonna teach you a physical thing and then 2 mindset things.
Okay.
The physical thing, a lot of people don't realize that that some people are not buying real estate just because they want a property and they want income.
Right.
They're
There's
buying
it's
real
tax
estate
deductible
because they can not have to pay taxes
Mhm.
on all their money. So that's a big thing. You can literally save tens of thousands of dollars every year if you learn the game on that. Number 2, this is very important too. Number 1, I really believe that when people don't pay, they don't pay attention. And I also believe, and that's those same lines, is that you can't charge what you're unwilling to pay. I had a guy who came to me really quick. He wanted to me to teach him how to be a coach and how to like charge people. And then I told him my price. He was like, well, I didn't think I was going to have to pay you. I thought you was just going to mentor me for free. So I'm like, so he was like, you don't care about the community because you ain't really teaching nobody because you trying to charge us money and you ain't really about that. So I was like, so let me get this straight. You want me to teach you how to charge people, but you want me to teach you that for free.
Yeah.
You want me to do something that you're telling me to teach you the opposite of. So that's when I kind of came up with the philosophy is that you can't charge what you're not willing to pay. If I can't, the reason why I can charge what I charge now is because I paid what I paid to learn what I've learned. You know what I'm saying? Another thing is that anytime I sow, a lot of people are holding on to a seed, thinking that that seed is a harvest, and it's all a seed. So if you're afraid to drop a seed, the Bible says, "He who sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and he who sows bountifully will also reap bountifully." I got to be willing to sow a seed in order for that seed to germinate and actually sprout up a harvest. So many people are afraid to invest in themselves. They're afraid to spend money. And one of the best things that I can say, the reason why I'm at where I'm at, is that I wasn't afraid to pay people who were down a lot more smarter than me and had a lot more access and a lot more connections than I had. And I've made way more money than I've ever paid them to begin with. And then the last thing is just practice telling yourself it's only $1 million. Affirmations are super important, right? Money comes to me easily, frequently, and abundantly, and those that are around me are automatically blessed by my presence. I teach my students to always say it's only $1 million. The reason why is that your money can never grow beyond your only. So if I'm telling myself it's going to be hard to make $1 million, you're right, because as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. If I think it's going to be hard, it will be hard, and I'll never get there. But if you start tricking your mind, and your mind don't know the difference between the truth and the lie, so if you start tricking your mind to saying that it's only $1 million, guess what? You begin to attract what it's going to take to get to $1 million, and once you get it, you won't even be surprised because you've been telling yourself it's only $1 million. You'll be on to the next thing while other people still trying to get to that first million. So.
No, that's great, bro. This is fire, bro. I appreciate you pulling up, man. Hopefully y'all learned a lot. This is some good game, bro.
Thank you, bro.
For the people that don't know how they can follow you, how they can tap in with you to get the mentorship and everything like that.
Yeah, man. Thank you. So my Instagram is Marvin Mitchell Official. And I do a what's called a 5-day challenge. It's super low cost. So this ain't my $35,000 mentorship. I'm talking about it's like $97 or something. But if you want to tap into my 5-day challenge where I teach you in 5 days how to get a blueprint to success, just go to transformyourwealthchallenge.com. So it's transformyourwealthchallenge.com, and we can hook you up and help you out.
Man, I appreciate that. This was good, bro.
Yes, sir.
My God, man.
I
Mr. Marvin Mitchell,
man.
Mr. J Hill is a wrap. We out, guys. Woo.
Let's go.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.